still not really?
We have to hold the microphone to your
Just
mouth.
like this?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm beginning to feel like a superstar, so I ought to be able to hold the mic, right? But there's been so much happening today, I'm almost out of words. I'm so glad to be here to meet old friends and coworkers of the Glebe Report and the Glebe Community Association. But wow, I'm overwhelmed by this building. It's changed. Where are the steps? And we did so many wonderful things here. I'm glad that probably you can do even more now. But it seems to have grown, and it's larger, but you've kept some wonderful architectural elements. So thank you. Thank you, City, and thank you, people who worked on it. I've been talking so much, I'm trying to think what heavens I said. I never imagined when I was always the last one on the agenda for the recreation within the Glebe Report meetings that I would be standing here, because all I started to do was an inventory of the spaces in the Glebe. And we had, as you know, shared driveways, some schoolyard play, but there was very little for us to really go out and play. And the one skating rink, when it didn't get plowed, didn't get used, and it disappeared from Lansdowne Park. Glebe Memorial Park, where we lived, was one of the first areas I think I was working on with our neighbors, so we could keep that park open, and we would help keep it open. The next was Chamberlain. The young people there said, "Oh, how do we like it? Don't do anything to it. Just leave it open the way it is." So I think it was. And we were lucky because Glashen needed it too for their recreation. Then we looked around and started to work with the schools on the Muchmore and the Glashen Park. And I think then there was First Avenue School. We seem to be busy all the time in the Glebe doing things. But let me get back to tonight and this park. It's a wonderful opportunity to do something special with a wonderful historic site with beautiful buildings, unique in Ottawa. And I think the Glebe and the city who work together with good ideas can do it. I'm sort of veering off from what I had said on both sides of the paper, but I think the Glebe has often had to deal with big issues, traffic, and the loss of buildings, like on the driveway, this beautiful building which was saved by Pat Zolf and others. And I see Pat Keeley here, and she almost lived at City Hall for a long time, seeing to it that we would have a traffic plan and that we would preserve this wonderful community in the very center of Ottawa. It's something that I look back with great happiness that we were able to bring up our two sons here in the community. They even came home for lunch, and my husband walked to work. It's an oasis in family support and community building. The planning has just begun, but finally, I think goodwill and hard work will help you to find better solutions, and that Lansdowne Park will be a jewel that we want it to be. one friend of mine who was an artist who came to Ottawa, and at the end of the whole visit, she said to me, well, the most interesting building in Ottawa is the Aberdeen Pavilion. And then she sent a poem and a picture for the Glebe Report. I sort of started to talk, and I wonder if you can take a little more. I find that on the way from Vermont today, we found there were a lot of different things. There are beautiful time of year, beautiful nature, but there were more and more buildings along the way, dotting the landscape with storage boxes. And I talked it over with Clive here and said, well, I guess we don't really need to buy so much stuff. And we can't keep it in our large homes even. So maybe we ought to think about classes for exercise in the glebe and green space and so on. And perhaps we won't need these storage boxes. And if we have an art gallery, we can enjoy the wonderful art that we've had. And now we should be exercising more. We'll have to have the facilities around us to encourage us. So I think that I've said almost everything. And I want to thank you for having me up here. And further, you may find another name which is more appropriate, because after all, I don't even live here anymore. I'm in my home city. My husband's as well. I'm in my home from my parents where I grew up. And we are now the center of the entire family. We're the grandparents, or the center of the generations. And I may not be coming back that much more. So there you have a new idea too, that you might want to rename the park and invite me back.